You don't have to open it now, but this cheat sheet gives all the instructions on how to use Noodletools. It's going to explain everything I'm saying now, but it's easier to see things. So rather than going through the instructions, just trying to read them, I think you'll understand it better if you watch me do it first. So don't go creating your own yet. I think once you see it, it'll be helpful. So to get to Noodletools, and save this link, and Ms. Genova can put it in the Google Classroom also. And it's also on the KP website. I have these instructions under a research tab, under research citations. I have videos on how to do this. And then hopefully we'll have this video too to refer back to. So in Noodletools, what you want to do is, especially from home, but even at school, you always want to start from being in your Google Drive or in your Gmail, because then you're already logged in. It makes it easy to log into Noodletools. If you don't, you have to type in your whole password and your username and your password. It's kind of a pain. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go to my Google Drive.
Do you want to, Mr. St. Germain, do you want to present your screen? Oh, I should probably
share my screen, huh? You can't just see it in your mind?
Well, I can, but I don't know.
All right.
Okay. Would you mind showing them the waffle again?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So starting from a regular Google search, what you want to do over here in the top right is click on the waffle, or however you get to your Gmail. But I always click on this waffle here. I click on Drive. And you can access all the apps like Classroom and everything from that waffle. So it's a great place to locate. Like if you don't remember how to get to Drive, instead of trying to do a search, the waffle has links to all these apps. So once I'm in here and I'm logged into my Google Drive, I'm going to click on the waffle again, and I'm going to scroll way down to the bottom. You're going to see a picture of the Moby, that robot from Brain Pop, if you remember that from elementary school. But just below that, usually a row or two below, mine's in the center here, there's a person standing up with their arms up. It's the Noodletools symbol. It's someone really excited about Citation because there's something really wrong with them, because Citation isn't fun, but it's important. It's very important. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to bring me to log into my account. And I'm just going to click on my email address from school. I'm going to wait for just a moment. And it's going to bring me to a list of my projects. So if you use Noodletools before, you'll have projects in here. And if you've not, then there'll be nothing here. So each time I go in, when I'm working on a project, I want to make sure I've given it a name that I will remember, because I need to get back to it. I'm not going to name it something random. Don't name it test or something like that. Name it the project, and even putting your grade level in is helpful, because you're going to use Noodletools all through your time at middle school, and you're also going to use it in high school. And it will be important for you to keep track of your projects. So I'm going to, let's say I'm working on an Ireland, Ireland is my country. I would name it, like here, I've got one called Grade 6 Ireland Research. Each time I'm going to put a source in for my Ireland research, after I've named it today, you would go back to it and just open that project back up. You're not going to create a new project every time you go in here. My project is my Ireland project. So I'm going to get rid of these two now, just because I'm demonstrating to you. So to make a new project, it's kind of obvious, is you've got a new project button at the top left here. The first thing it's going to ask you is to give it a name, and I'm going to call it Grade 6, actually, Grade 6 Ireland Research. Now, the next part is really important. The next two buttons that you click, you need to pick a style of citation, because there's lots of different styles, which is really, it's rules about how you put your citation together. Different schools, different subject areas want different formats for that, so it's easier for them to access your citations and your sources, and also the citation level. So for citation style, your teacher will tell you what kind you need to use, and we are using MLA format. When you get to high school, you may use APA for if you take a psychology class, or you'll use Chicago maybe if you take some history classes in junior or senior year, I believe. So we're using MLA, and then I'm going to click Advanced, because this will give you the most choices. So you have your name, your MLA, and Advanced clicked. Once that's done, I'm going to hit Submit. It's going to create this project folder for me. Now, at the top here, you can see I've got 5 tabs. You've got projects, which is the list of your projects. I'll click on it. You can see my list of projects we saw before, and my new ones here, and it's open. You've got your dashboard, and this lets you share your project with your teacher. And sometimes your teacher will ask you to share it with their inbox, and they'll tell you how to do that at that time. We're not going to really use that for this. The third tab is sources, and this is where you're going to plug in all of your sources for the project. The next 2 tabs are for note cards. Some teachers will have you take notes using Noodletools. You'll take all your notes in Noodletools, and it will help you to create a paper with all the footnotes and everything you need. We're not doing that for this. We're just using Noodletools to collect your sources. So I'm going to go here and click on my sources. And you'll see I've got no sources yet. So I'm going to put my first source in. Actually, I've got to get my source first. So let's do this. If you've not been to your school's library, your homeschool's library website, you should go there because there's great, all Mrs. McNeese and Miss Tom and I all have great collections, I believe, of database information and information on how to do citations and ways to get books. If you don't know how to get there, you go to whps.org. That's West Hartford Public Schools. I will do KP. So under Our Schools tab here, I'm going to go to KP. And from here on the right is a menu. Sometimes you can't see that menu. If your view is too squished, especially on a Chromebook, sometimes you won't see these few buttons. So you go up here to these 3 dots. And see where it says zoom? You're going to zoom out a little, zoom in a little, out a little bit. You're going to click your minus sign, perhaps 3 times, and then these buttons will appear. I'm going to go back to normal because it's not a problem on my computer, but I know in Chromebooks it's been an issue that people don't see this menu button. So I'm going to click on menu, and I'm going to go down to Library Media Center. Every middle school has one of the, actually every school has, in West Hartford has one of these buttons for Library Media Center. So this is KP's site, and I'm going to go, again, I told you how I have information under my research tab. I have a whole page on citation, and these are all videos and guides on how to cite. But again, we're showing you today. So I want to go to a database because some of you, I think, use country reports. Now, sometimes for databases, you don't know what the username or the password is to use it. So what I put here in this link, if you click on it, this is only West Hartford students can get to this page. So you've got to be logged in to see it. But this is all the usernames and passwords or how to get into all these sources. So for country reports, right here, the username for KP, and now you can use this if you're a Sedgwick student and if you're a Bristow student. But the username is King Philip. Philip has only 1 L, and it's all one word, all lowercase, and the password is library. So I'm going to go back to my page. I'm going to click on my country reports. I may already, oh, no. King Philip and library. So from here, I'm going to type in Ireland, do my search. Now, if you're lucky, a source will give you the whole citation. They'll give you everything, and all you have to do is copy and paste it into your Noodletools, and I'll show you how to do that. And if you're using a regular old website, though, like even just New York Times or some magazine sites, some of them won't give you the citation. So the first key is to look and see if they give it to you. So here I'm going to look at my article on Ireland, and I'm going to search around and see if I can find anything that's going to give me a citation. So let's say I took notes from this page. I know I'm going to use this page. I read through it, and so I need to cite it because I'm going to use it for my project. Now they put their citation in a weird place, way down here, very small. A lot of times they're going to put it sort of near the top of the page. Like I think Britannica puts it near the top. But way down here it says Internet Citation. So I'm going to click on that. And they've given me exactly what I need right here under MLA citation example. So I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to my Noodletools. And I'm going to click on New Source. And this is a website. And I'm just going to click Website and Web Page. Almost all of the things that you choose are going to be website, web page, unless you use a database like Research at CT or one of the global issues databases. So I'm going to call this website again here, web page. Now, normally I would have to dig out if it's a regular website, and I'm going to show you how to do this in a minute to fill in these boxes. It looks worse than it is. But even faster than this is over here is Quick Cite. And again, Quick Cite you can only use when they give you the whole citation, when they've given it to you. So I'm going to do Quick Cite, copy and paste a citation. So I click here. And all I need to do is paste it in this box under this red star. It says manually edited citation. In other words, I'm putting it in by hand. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to hit Control V, V for paste. I don't know why. Oh, it's because Control P is for print. And if you don't want to print anything. So for some reason they chose Control V because it's next to C, Control C for copy. I've pasted it in. I'm going to click Save. And my country report citation is done. If I want to go back to the website, right here, all I do is click on Live Web Page. It will get me back there. So let's say you've picked a harder site. You picked a harder site that didn't give you a citation. Let's see what we do there. So I'm just going to do a regular Google search. And I'm going to type in, I'm going to just do Ireland. I'm doing a search for Ireland. I probably should have been more specific in my search because I right now have 1,390,000,000 results. 1,390,000,000 websites or web pages about Ireland. So I really should have said something like travel, or I should have been a little bit more specific. Because we're just practicing, though, I don't want to take too much time with that. You'll notice the first few results, and this is for a lot of searches that you do, are going to be Wikipedia results. And Wikipedia results are fine when you want to learn something quick. It's like a friend telling you a fact. You kind of believe them, but if you wouldn't use it in a report, you'd want to get right to the main source if you're going to do that. So Wikipedia is great for just learning some quick facts, and maybe it will lead you to other things, but you never want to use this as a source when you're writing a paper or you're doing any kind of a project. So I'm going to scroll down a little below the Wikipedia articles. And here's one called Ireland.com. So let's see. It's an official website of tourism for Ireland for visitors. So that looks good. So I've gone here. I've actually seen this page before. I'm going to scroll down. There's an article. Here's 10 reasons why Ireland is always in season. So let's say I've looked at the article. I know this website is reliable, and I've read through, and I know I'm going to take notes on here. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to look and see if they give me a citation. And at the top of the page, I'm not seeing anything about citation. And this is a travel website, so it's not likely to give me a citation. So I checked at the top, I checked at the very bottom. There's nothing about citation here. So I'm going to have to fill this in piece by piece. The first thing they're going to ask you for is your URL. That's this web address up here. So what I do is I click on it one time, and I hit Control. I hold down Control and I hit C for copy. Go back to Noodletools, and I'm going to paste that in this URL box. Now, as you're filling in these boxes, if you can't remember what's supposed to go in the box or how it's supposed to look, you click on the box, and then there'll be a letter I up here, and that gives you information on what's supposed to go into that box. So when I click here, it says it recommends you include a URL. If your instructor asks you to leave it out, follow his or her directions. I always suggest you always want to put your URL in there because it helps you get back to the website later. Next is a date of publication. So I click here, you'll see here's the I again, and it's going to tell you it wants the publication or copyright date. So let's go back to that web page here. And actually, usually the date will be either at the end of the article or at the beginning, right under the title. And right here, I'm lucky. It says Monday, 4th of January, 2021. So I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to click January 4th, 2021. Now, sometimes you're not going to find a date at all. That's because there are no rules for websites. There's no law about what you have to include on a website. So whoever you could make your own web page. You don't have to put a date on there. You don't have to put your name as the author. You don't have to have even a name of your website. You could leave that blank. You'd make it hard for kids trying to cite your page, but they're probably not going to use it because they will think you're not reliable if you don't do those things. But you may find, like, even reliable websites like the US government, a lot of government websites do not have a date when their articles were written. So many times you're going to actually leave the date blank. Sometimes you'll just see a month and a year, and sometimes you'll just see a year. So what I always tell people is search for about 20 or 30 seconds. If you search a page and you don't see a date anywhere and you feel like you've looked as hard as you could, leave it blank if you have to. And that goes for most of these boxes. The next one is most recent date of access. That is when did you last look at the page? And we have this because sometimes websites disappear. People might not pay their bill. The server might break where the website was living. A lot of things could happen, but you just don't have the date when you last saw it. So you could say, I'm sure it was there on this date. There is a website called Wayback Machine that you can find old websites that have disappeared, and this date might help you do that. So all I need to do is click on the word today, because that's when I last looked at the site, and it will fill in today's date. Next, it's contributors. So it's like who wrote the page, who contributed to the page. And if you click on role, you can see there's 3 choices here. You've got author, editor, and translator. The author is the person who wrote it. Editors are people who've taken something already written and they've fixed it up. And translator is the person who translated the site into a different language. In the case of this site, the author should be around here somewhere or at the very end of the article. Hope this is making you dizzy, all this scrolling. And there is no author written of this site. So I'm going to leave that box blank. I hate leaving that box blank. If I can find an author, I will look. Sometimes, as in the case before, sometimes they're going to give you just the first name and the last name. So you just leave the middle name blank. You do need to click the role of the person, and if you find the author and click author, or if it says editors, you click on the word editor. Make sure you click on that. If you don't, it won't save your citation until you've chosen a job for the person that you've got listed in here. Sometimes you'll see it'll say something like, especially history.com or ESPN will do this. It'll say ESPN editors. So when you have a group like that and it doesn't give people specific names, that goes in this last box where it says last name or group. You would type in history.com editors. So we are leaving that box blank because we didn't have an author. The next one we should not leave blank at all. It's called web page or document or article title. So that's the name of this page. Now the whole website is called Ireland. Or you could say Ireland.com, but the whole website just called Ireland. But this page, this article is called 10 Reasons Why Ireland is Always in Season. I'm going to copy the title and I'm going to paste that here. Now, this suggestion box pops up and it says the first letter of the words listed here should most likely be capitalized unless they're in a language other than English. And they say we should capitalize the R, the W, they tell me which words to capitalize, which is really helpful. Now, one thing I disagree with them on is the word is. I don't think the word is supposed to be capitalized, so I'm going to ignore them there. And look that up later. I believe that's how it's supposed to look. If for some weird reason your website does not have a title, you would check off this box and then you would write a short description. It says you'd write a short description of what the web page is about. That shouldn't happen too often, but it does occasionally happen. Next is English translation of the document/article title. You probably will almost never use this in your life, but if the title of the article was written in a different language, and you translated it into the English, or someone else translated it into English, you'd write it in the original language in this top box, and then you would put the translation into English in this box. So we're down to actually your last things to fill out. One is the name of the website. You'll see there's a red star here. That means you must fill that in there. We must have a name of the website. So I'm going to go back, and this whole website, like the website, think of the website as the book, and the web page is one page in that book. The whole website is called Ireland. And publisher of the site can be found almost always at the very bottom of the page by the copyright symbol, which is that circle with the C in it. And theirs is down here, Tourism Ireland. So I'm going to copy that and paste that in here. And I'm done. So there's contributors to the site as a whole. That is, if you used every page of this website or a lot of pages from this website, then you'd want to put in people who are editing the site. Not so key for this. I'm using one article from this site. Same for edition, version, and revision. That's more if you're looking at a magazine that's online. So we're not going to worry about those boxes. And you notice there's not red stars by them, so it's fine. The last box is annotation, and that's if you have notes about this website. Maybe you want to tell yourself, oh, this is a really helpful site. I use facts about Ireland's travel and different areas of the country. These are notes for you. Sometimes your teacher will have rules for what you put in this box. They may tell you you have to put in how you knew the website was reliable, or how you used it in your final project. But annotation, it just means notes for you, and they actually don't show up when you print out your citation. So I'm checking through once to make sure I got everything I needed. And I'm going to click Save. They do not have autosave in Noodletools, so please, after you fill in all those boxes and you've taken the time to find that information, please click Save. And when you see it in this list, you know you got it saved. If you ever need to edit it, over here in this options box is an edit button. So you've got all your citations, you finished your research, and you're ready to take this and paste it into the last slide of your show about your country. So what you want to do is up here under print/export is click on this. And you're going to go down to print/export to Google Docs. You'll click on that, and you'll wait very patiently, and it's going to create a Google Doc for you in your Google Drive. And it's going to put perfectly formatted citations, just like this. It'll have the words works cited at the top. It numbers your page for you if you had multiple pages, and it puts your citation in the correct order. So all you need to do is copy this page, and then you would just paste it onto your slide in your slideshow. So that was an awful lot, but as I said, I shared this document with you. I have pictures here reminding you about how to find Noodletools. I have how to start the new project. I don't know why there's a number 6 here. There should not be. How to link your project to your teacher if you ever needed to, which we're not doing for this. And then step by step, how to choose what kind of a source it is. And then this last page, I go through what goes in all the boxes, and which even tell you which boxes to skip. So the last page is actually the most important page of this as you're doing your work. If you've got questions, what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to put my email address at the very bottom. And you can email me if you ever have any questions. And if you just type in the word Dave, my name will pop up. Okay, do we have any questions?
Anyone? Okay, so I've recorded this session, and hopefully it'll work for me so I can upload it into Google Classroom.
Great. Share it with me, and I'll throw it to YouTube too, and it's easier to access YouTube videos.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. All right, so will I see you period 4?
Yes, I can come period 4.
Okay, so it's just period 2 you can't come, right?
Right.
Okay, great. All right, thank you, Mr. St. Germain.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys. Say goodbye. Say guys. Guys, say bye.
Bye.
All right, bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so let's take a break. Well, you know what? It's not worth taking a break at this point because class gets out at 9:14, so I'll just end up letting you out, or 9:12, I think. So I'll let you out early. So why don't we just continue our research for now? If you do have to get up and go and use the bathroom, please feel free to go do so. Just come right back and get back to work. That's all I ask, okay? So I ask you to be kind of put it on the honor system right now, okay? And that's all going to be in the video because I forgot to hit stop recording.
Okay. What's